Hi, YouTube. My channel is lilyharvord if you want to keep looking up my videos. I know they're not very good quality because I don't have a very good webcam. But, so, I'm going to be reviewing books a lot. And so, the first book I'm going to review is Hunger Games, which is coming out, the video, or movie, whatever it is coming out March 23rd. 1 week from now. Yay! But, so, it's coming out, and I thought, why not do a video on it? So, um, it starts off in Panama. Yeah, it's Panam. Panam. I think that's right. I can't remember it. I don't have the book in front of me. Oops. I let my brothers borrow it. Anyway, so it's set in this dystopian North American area, and every year, 24 tributes are sent to fight to the death on live TV. Oh my god, fight to the death. But, so they're sent to fight to the death. Dun, dun, dun. So 24 of them, 12 boys, 12 girls, 2 from each district. There are 12 districts. There were 13, but the 13th was blown up. It was blown up during the rebellion when the district tried to rebel against the capital. And that's how the Hunger Games started. So they're sent, and they fight to the death on live TV, like I've already said, like 5 times. Anyway, so the main character of the books series is Katniss Everdeen, and she lives in District 12. They're the poorest district. They mine coal, and so her dad dies in a mine explosion, and here she has to hunt for her family, and she has a little sister named Prim, and she has a mom, and her mom kind of is really depressed, so her mom doesn't really care anymore. And her sister and her are, like, scrapping to live. And so she gets sent to the Hunger Games. And then, well, her sister gets picked. Her name, one in thousands of slips, as it's put, is pulled from the jar. So Katniss, being the great big sister she is, she goes and she volunteers herself as tribute. So she's picked. Then you got your next tribute, Peeta. Peeta is a baker's son. He lives in the town district area of District 12. Anyway, so really confusing, I know. So they live there, and he gets picked. They have this whole background story behind them. He gave her the bread that saved her life. Hence the sentence, "The boy with the bread was already slipping away from me," at the end of the book. The book is split up into 3 parts to give you kind of the on the edge of your seat feeling, you know. There's the 3 parts, and they are mostly cut when something really big happens. So the first big thing that happens is Prim gets picked. The next thing that happens is she's sent, and we get to meet their, what is he? His name's Hamish, and he's their kind of like instructor in a way. He kind of like helps them, their guidance or whatever in the arena. So he goes, and he's drunk. But wouldn't you be kind of if you already went through all this and you watched everybody you knew die? I would be drunk. Anyhow, so Hamish, he kind of helps them and stuff. And they go to the capital, which is like the ruling city of Panam. So they go, and then they're sent into an arena later. But the first thing they have to do is they have to do their interviews and stuff. And so you meet her stylist, which is Cena. The audiobook pronounced it Cinna, I believe. I always thought it was Cena. But so he makes her costume and stuff, and he gives her this cool fiery cape thing. I want to wear one of those. But so he does that, and it's like, he does that, and hence her nickname in the games, the Girl on Fire. So she does that, and then they go out, and Peeta and her go on a chariot ride, and they hold hands, and that's like the first time anyone's ever done that. And so everyone's like, "Oh, they're so cool, we love them," you know? And then they get to the tribute, they ride around, they come back, they go into the thing, and then they start eating dinner and stuff. And then we meet our first kind of side block in Katniss's life, and that's the Avex girl. Avex. I can never pronounce it. Like I can't pronounce Panem, and Cena. Whatever. Too many weird names. So, they come there, and this Avex girl, I guess, she was a normal girl who tried to escape from the capital, and she was trying to escape somewhere, but Katniss never figures out why. We don't figure out where that is until Mockingjay, third book. And so she escapes, they escape, and the capital catches this girl, and they cut her tongue out, and she's mute now. So she has to serve on the future tributes of Panem. Future tributes. So then they go and they train a little bit, and they stay away from their kind of strengths in a way. Katniss' strength is hunting, archery, bows and stuff. So she stays away from that. Peeta does his whole weight thing. He's good with weights, I guess. And we don't actually find out until later when they're in the arena that Peeta's actually good with, like, camouflage. He disguises himself and hides in the mud until Katniss finds him. So that happens. And then they go to their interviews, and, well, actually, no, before that they do their whole thing from the Game Makers. And Katniss, she gets really pissed off because they're not paying attention to her. So she shoots an arrow at them, at this pig thing that they were about to eat. And it hits the apple in the pig's mouth, and it goes straight on the wall. And so everyone's like, whoa. And she's like, thank you very much for listening. I will leave now. Then she walks out, and then she's like, oh my god, they're going to kill my family. Then she gets an 11. And an 11 is the highest possible score, I believe, you can get. It's either 11 or 12. But so she gets an 11, and then then they have to do interviews. So she does an interview with this guy named, I can't even remember his name. I can't remember his name. But so he does this interview with her, and at the end, she kind of is like, oh my god. And then Peeta does his interview. And Peeta's interview, he gets up there and he's like, oh, ha, I'm the funny guy. And then he says, and then they're like, well, you must have a lot of girlfriends at home. He's like, well, no, I have always liked one. They're like, who is she? And she's like, they're like, oh, come on, tell us who she is. She must be dying to know back home. And he's like, well, that's the problem. She came here with me. And we're all like, oh, it's Katniss. And then she thinks this is wholesome plot. Weird. But so then that happens. Then they go into the arena. I'm gonna have to make this short. They go into the arena and they fight a little while, and then Katniss and Peeta team up again. There's this whole part where she teams up with this little girl named Rue, and Rue is from District 4, I think, agriculture, and so she knows all the birds and stuff. And then they blow up the carrier supplies. The carriers are people who are trained to fight in the Hunger Games. They like always are winners and stuff, I guess. So the whole thing is that the carrier's only lost when the food supplies is gone. So Katniss is like, okay, let's go blow it up. So they go and she shoots an arrow, it blows up, she loses her hearing in her right ear, and so she's kind of like a wounded animal, as she put very clearly. And then she runs back and they set up these fires. She goes to the third fire, Rue's not there. She's like, okay, where's Rue? Why not just sit there and wait for her? But so then she's like, Rue, where are you? Run around in circles like a weirdo. And then she gets to find Rue, and Rue is tangled in this net. And then the boy from District 3 throws a spear at her, and she dies. That was actually the saddest death in the book. But so she dies. And then Katniss sings her this lullaby, and she's like, I want to do something to shame the capital. So she buries her in flowers by taking these wildflowers and putting them in her hair and stuff like that. Then she sings a lullaby, then the hovercraft comes, and she does this whole thing where she does this, and she holds it up, and then they're done. And then the capital hates her for that now. Well, she's like, whatever. And so then she sleeps in a tree. Then she runs around trying to find Peeta. And then there's this whole rule change where it's like, 2 people can now win instead of 1. And so Katniss is like, yay! I gotta go find Peeta! Yay! So then she goes and she runs around the arena trying to find him. So she follows these clues that just happen to be there for her to find. That doesn't happen in real life. And so she runs And she finds him. He's buried in some mud. That's where we find out his camouflage. Then we find out Cato. Then we find out that Cato attacked his leg with a sword and cut it. And so he's getting like lead poisoning or blood poisoning. And so Katniss has to go to this thing called the Feast, where something special that she needs desperately is there for her. So she runs the Feast, and this person named Clove from District 2 tackles her, and she's good with knives. So she cuts Katniss's eye and all that, and then there's this whole showdown, and then Thresh shows up. Thresh is Rue's other tribute, and so he saves Katniss and lets her get away because of the whole thing with Rue. Cato is Clove's other tribute. He escapes with whatever he... Thresh takes Cato's stuff and leaves. Katniss takes her little bag and runs back to Peeta, puts it in Peeta's leg, he's safe, and then he nurses her back to health, and then they just kind of that, and then now they have to go fight. There's another tribute called Foxface, and she has like red hair. Nobody really knows what her real name is. We never learn it. We just know Katniss called her Foxface. So Katniss and Peeta go hunting for food and stuff, and Peeta harvests these things called Nightlock. And Nightlock is this poisonous berry where I guess if you eat it, you die instantly. So he leaves it there, and Foxface is kind of like a scavenger. She kind of like runs around and takes whatever she can get. So she finds these berries, and she takes them, she eats them, she dies. That's another tribute gone. Now it's just Peeta, Katniss, and Cato. And so, the most dramatic showdown. So then they run, and they go fight at the Cornucopia. They go and they wait for Cato at the Cornucopia. Because the game makers drained all the rivers and water. And the only water source is the lake, which is by the Cornucopia. So they go to the Cornucopia, they wait. Nothing happens, and then Cato comes running at them, right? And they're like, whoa, crazy guy. Then he runs past them. They're like, even crazier guy. We're right here. And then they turn around, these mutts come out. They're these like crazy wolf things, like crossbreed between humans and wolves. It is insane. I literally screamed and threw the book across the room going, oh my god! And then I picked it up and started reading again. Well, I actually kind of was like, sorry, my baby. I like stroked its spine. It's kind of creepy. So that happens, and then they fight. He falls down to the mutts, and the mutts, he has this body armor on, and so the mutts kind of try to eat Cato, and they can't. And so he's like dying his terrible death, so Katniss shoots this arrow at him, and he dies. And then they're supposed to win, but nothing happens. And then they find out that the rule change was just so it could be a dramatic showdown. And so Katniss is like, whoa, you tricked me. That's not cool, man. You guys are all... I'm not even going to say the word. But so then she goes and she pulls the Nightlock out. She's like, okay, now you eat some and I'll eat some, and they have to have a victor. And so they pretend to eat them, and they're like, no, wait, we have our victors. And so then they win. And they go home, and Gale is kind of pissed off at Katniss at the moment. Because, I mean, well, he loved her, and she never knew that. So that happens, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. They go home, and Peter's like, wait, there was all a game to you in there? And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am anymore. I'm sorry. Fail. So that happens, and that's pretty much the whole book. I think I just gave you a really, really, really long summary. But that's the whole book, and so the next book is Catching Fire, and I'm going to try to do that one as soon as possible. I mean, I've already read it, but I didn't really like it. So I'm just going to do the next one soon. So if you ever want to watch my other shows, which they won't be as long as this one, I'm going to do Catching Fire next, and so look up Lily Harvord, Lilyharvard, Harvard. Yeah, like the college, I guess. I'll see you guys all later. Bye!